It is before dawn when I see a beam of light descending from the sky in the direction of the mountains, somewhere in the woods. It has been a few hours since Milo's group left Blackpond, not knowing where the travelers would appear. I suppose that Milo went toward the center of Aegis and tried to reach the plains. I watched the spectacle from the palisade. After a few restless hours of sleep, I go outside to think of my next moves. The palisade is lifeless in the gray morning light. We have 2 gates, and at night the only guards are stationed at those gates. After overpowering the Kartusk, I come up with a plan to reinforce my position through old alliances. I will send diplomats to Kots and to the City of Wardens. I would go myself, but Debra would use it to undermine me. Besides, no one knows what Milo and his group will bring or when they will return. I need to be honest, I say bluntly. There's no point in beating around the bush about our food situation at this point. Try to open talks about trade once more. We could provide a stable resource of wood to the City of Wardens. As for Kots, I take a long look at my friends. Scar and Emanu are not just diplomats, but old comrades from our travels across Aegis during our youth. Guys, we're entering a time that could bring a lot of trouble. My wife is planning to take power in Blackpond with Milo's help, I say, the uncomfortable truth. I feel a flicker of,
Please don't do this. It's too dangerous. He nodded slowly, as if torn. I know, he murmured, his voice full of determination. That's why I have to do this. I will come back to you and our babies, I promise. I will bring home enough that none of us will ever go hungry. Fear and desperation welled in me.
Scar crosses his arms, frowning. Debra is pointing to our food shortage and peddling simple solutions that stoke fear. I heard she's even saying that all outsiders who haven't lived in Blackpond for at least 2 generations need to be outcast. She claims they have no place among us and are just a few hundred empty stomachs to feed. Scar shakes his head. When I first heard that, I feel a chill. This is sinister. Actually, this makes sense, I realize aloud. She's using the prevailing sentiment and unresolved issues from the past to win powerful people to her side. It's much easier to point at some minority and blame them than to build trust. This is even more serious than I expected. I'm sure at least a few of the old Emanu adds, we also need to make it clear that Milo's expedition is not Blackpond's stance. It's a big issue since we have no idea what they will do or whom they might encounter. In the best-case scenario, they find no one and come home by evening, but I fear that other factions, driven mad by the travelers' legends, may run into them.
He knelt down and brushed a hand against my cheek. I love you, he said softly. I love you and our son. He lifted our little boy in his arms and pressed a kiss to his forehead. He straightened, gave me one last look full of both sorrow and determination, and stepped out the door. I watched as the door closed behind him and the lock clicked. The cottage instantly felt enormous and empty.
They want faster, more radical solutions. Of course, they aren't communicating this directly, but after a career as a diplomat, I have a sense of what people want and how decisions affect them. The other half of the families are more progressive and still believe there may be a way to handle the situation diplomatically and prosper in the future. By evening, I feel tired and like this whole situation is slipping out of my hands. If Milo comes back with travelers or some kind of trade or wealth, he will surely win public favor and could effectively enact Debra's plan to outcast minorities who are not originally from Blackpond. I don't even want to imagine what would happen to Blackpond then, as it could lead to aggression and alienate some of our former... It's late evening and I haven't seen Debra since last night. I'm not sure what she's up to, but I know for a fact that she is in agony, anxiously awaiting her brother's return. To be honest with myself, I feel the same tense anticipation because it will decide what happens next. My last hope, nothing. All day and night, most of Blackpond waited to see what Milo's group would bring. But the group is nowhere to be seen. Nothing at all. No one returned. No message. In the evening, I saw Debra pacing nervously from window to window, a spark of hope in her eyes to be the first to